Hello students, today we are going to learn about a linked list. A linked list is a sequence of data structures which are connected together via links. Linked list is a sequence of links which contains items. Each link contains a connection to another link. Linked list is the second most used data structure after an array. Following are the important terms to understand the concept of linked list. Link. Each link of a linked list can store a data called an element. Next, each link of a linked list contains a link to the next link called next. Linked list. A linked list contains the connection link to the first link called first. Now, linked list representation. In linked list, every node points to the next node. We can see from the diagram. And these are the important points to be considered. Linked list contains a link element called first. Each link carries a data field and a link field that's called next. Each link is linked with its next link using its next link. Last link carries a link as null to mark the end of the list. You can see from the diagram. There are three types of linked list. Simple linked list. Item navigation is forward only. Now doubly linked list. Items can be navigated forward and backward. Circular linked list. Last item contains link of the first element as next and the first element has a link to the last element as previous. Now the basic operations of linked list. Insertion adds an element at the beginning of the list. Deletion deletes an element at the beginning of the list. Display displays the complete list. Search searches an element using a given key. Delete deletes an element using the given key. Now, what do you mean by a doubly linked list? Doubly linked list is a variation of linked list in which navigation is possible in both the ways, either forward and backward, easily as compared to single linked list. Following are the important terms to understand the concept of doubly linked list. Link. Each link of a linked list can store a data called an element. Next, each link of a linked list contains a link to the next link called next. Now previous. Each link of a linked list contains a link to the previous link called prev. Now linked list. A linked list contains the connection link to the first link called first and to the last link called last. Doubly linked list representation. Doubly linked list contains a link element called first and last. Each link carries a data field and two link fields called next and prev. Each link is linked with its next link using its next link. Each link is linked with its previous link using its previous link. The last link carries a link as null to mark the end of the list. Now, what are the basic operations? Insertion adds an element at the beginning of the list. Deletion deletes an element at the beginning of the list. Insert last adds an element at the end of the list. Delete last deletes an element from the end of the list. Insert after adds an element after an item of the list. Delete deletes an element from the list using the key. Display forward display the complete list in a forward manner. Display backward display the complete list in a backward manner. Now, syncly linked lists are circular. In syncly linked list, the next pointer of the last node points to the first node. We can see from the diagram. Now, doubly linked lists are circular. Just look at the diagram. In doubly linked list, the next pointer of the last node points to the first node, and the previous pointer of the first node points to the last node, making circular in both the directions. From the above diagram, there are two important points to be considered. The last link's next points to the first link of the list in both cases of syncly as well as doubly linked list. The first link previous points to the last of the list in case of doubly linked list. Now, some basic operations are there. Insert inserts an element at the start of the list. Deletes an element from the start of the list. Display displays the list.